All right, people, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This video is about how to turn the pursued into the pursuer. It's a chapter in Robert Greene's book, The Art of Seduction, on how to give them space to pursue you. So this is half of the full video. If you want to watch the full video, you could join the Robert Greene Book Club on Patreon, where we're going to be reviewing all of Robert Greene's books, but we're starting off with The Art of Seduction. All right, so click on the description down below, become a Patreon supporter. It's only $5 a month, and I'll see you guys inside. Let's begin. But it was almost like my lack of trying to seduce her, my lack of trying to make this sexual, made them want to make it that, if that makes any sense. Like, for example, if I meet you and I say, man, you're beautiful, girl. Oh my God, you got a sexy ass body. And then I meet you, but then when you meet me, I am physically distant. I sit like a gentleman. I don't make a move. I don't look down on you. I don't look up and down on you. I don't look at your cleavage. I look at you in the eye, and I act like a gentleman. And when I leave and I shake your hand. You're gonna be a little confused. I don't give a fuck who you are. You gonna be like, okay, you were acting like this over text, and now you're all of a sudden you want to be like a complete gentleman. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So what it makes the person do is they start trying to find a way to sexualize it. It's almost like even with ladies, where when the lady doesn't make a move, what usually happens? The man makes a move. But I noticed that when I don't make the move, she makes the move. A perfect example is I went out with this girl who I hired as my designer, as a graphic designer, because I like to hire people, right? I don't like to use AIs. I like to hire people. Anyway, so I hired her, and halfway through the project, not even halfway through the project, like before we agreed on it, I asked her, hey, what are you doing? You want to get a drink? She's just friends. First of all, I thought she was lesbian. Okay, she had like a bald head. Not bald, not like Dr. Evil, but like, like a buzz cut. Honestly, it fit her. She was so beautiful in my opinion. Anyway, so I went to meet her, and I thought this was just gonna be a very casual date, honestly. I mean, not even a casual date, but just a casual meetup. Like, there was nothing sexual about it. I kept my distance. And as I was sitting down, talking to her, chatting with her, I started noticing she was giving me that look again of the other girl. I'm like, no way. Like, I'm hiring her. Like, there's no way she's really giving me that look. Like, it's impossible. And after the first drink, she was like, you want me to get the next one? And I'm like, okay, sure. She got up. My God. I was like, oh my God, she's fucking hot. I'm like, Jesus Christ, they're shaking. Like, she was a thick white girl. Like she looked like she had the hourglass figure, and then her skirt was see-through. Oh my God. I'm like, this is not professional. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm trying to resist here. So when she came back, I was like, oh, okay, let me act normal. So she sat down, and I acted very normal, but I think my body language was a little stiff because I was nervous. I didn't know what the hell this was. Like, it just felt, one thing looked like it was a casual meetup, and the other part looked like it was like she was dressing as though it was a date. It was Friday night, don't get me wrong. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm just trying to keep professional. She's a nice person. I'm not trying to do nothing with her. Okay. So then, like 1 hour into the date, I noticed that all of a sudden, she starts like staring at me a little bit more. Her mouth was a little bit open. Her eyes were more relaxed. Her neck was relaxed, so her neck was down like that. So she was giving me the look, like this look. And I was like, and I'm like kind of nervous here. I'm like, okay, like I didn't know what was her orientation. I just assumed she was lesbian. Like she just gave that vibe, you know? And then she gets closer to me and says, can I kiss you? And I'm like, sure. And man, when she kissed me, ladies and gentlemen, like, I almost had to put a restraining order on her, because you could tell that she was thinking of that. Oh my Lord. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my fucking God. Then I'm like, yo, she got a dog in the trunk. That's what I wanted to say. She was just a thick girl. My God. Anyway, so she ended up, after the date, she was like, you want to come back home? I'm like, what's going on here? I'm thinking this is just a professional meetup. And you know what's funny is that I've met many people. Like, I remember, like, this happens a lot with me where because I get along with lesbian girls. I get along as friends. You know what I'm saying? As friends, I get along with them. I get along with girls like that. But what's funny is that I think back in my life, and every time I ever hung out with a female that was lesbian, that I assume it was just a friendship, not all the time, but a lot of the times, they ended up literally making a masculine move and hitting on me. You know, like it's almost like my mentality is so different when I meet women who I know are not into me. Like I keep it super casual, super professional, no sexualization, nothing. Like I sit like this. Heck, I might even sit like that, like a gay dude. I don't give a fuck. What ends up happening is that they end up it's almost like they say, oh my God, like he's not reacting to me, he's not trying to hit on me. Let me show him what I really look like. Let me show him my skills. You can't resist me. And then they start pursuing you because you're keeping it so professional and so simple. And it's exciting for them because I can promise you, the girl told me, she was like, most dudes try to hit on me when they try to hire me. Which honestly, I feel bad. You know what I'm saying? I feel really bad. That is not fair. That's no fun. That doesn't feel good. But it was a very interesting conversation. All right, let's continue with this.
To produce this effect, first reveal an interest in your targets through letters or subtle insinuation.
Or texts, or even looks, right? You give him a look. I give creepy looks, but it's almost like you're working and then you give him a look like, I don't know, my look is creepy. But through looks, right? Through subtle looks, subtle signs of interest, or even liking all of their posts or always responding to their messages. Make them assume that you are interested, but then when you are in person, you keep it professional. You keep it platonic. That confuses, and I'm gonna tell you something, it's really pleasurable for the other person. It makes them, there's a challenge. You feel something when you're challenged. It's fun.
But when you are in their presence, assume a kind of sexless neutrality. Be friendly, even warm, but no more. You are pushing them into arming themselves with the seductive charms that are natural to their sex. Exactly what you want. In the latter stages of the seduction, let your targets feel that you are becoming interested in another person. This is another form of taking a step.
So this is like in the latter portions. Once they're really falling in love, Robert Greene, not me, talks about creating a triangle, right? Because why competition is a man's ultimate weakness, you know?
Back. When Napoleon Bonaparte first met the young widow Josephine de Beauharnais in 1795, he was excited by her exotic beauty and the looks she gave him. He began to attend her weekly soirees, and to his delight, she would ignore the other men and remain at his side, listening to him so attentively. He found himself falling in love with Josephine and had every reason to believe she felt the same. Then, at one soiree, she was friendly and attentive as usual, except that she was equally friendly to another man there, a former aristocrat, like Josephine, the kind of man that Napoleon could never compete with when it came to manners and...
It's almost like the Tyrone syndrome, right?
Wit. Doubts and jealousies began to stir within. As a military man, he knew the value of going on the offensive, and after a few weeks of a swift and aggressive campaign, he had her all to himself, eventually marrying her. Of course, Josephine, a clever seductress, had set it all up. She didn't say she was interested in another man, but his mere presence at her house, a look here and there, subtle gestures, made it seem that way.
It's, again, that's the key. For example, that's why I tell you, oh my God, I have a new personal trainer. He's Tyrone. He's giving me discounts. It's like, you could easily see how women will be not in an insulting way, women, but you can easily see how a woman will be naive to the fact that this dude is only giving you discounts because he wants to tap that, because he wants a holy poom poom, right? And a lot of guys will be like, guys don't just give women discount, especially a personal trainer, all right? So that type of stuff makes it's almost like it naturally makes the guy or even anyone say, okay, like, is this really a discount or is this really just him trying to discount that ass? Like, which one is it, right? Or even just talking about or praising a teacher that's the opposite sex of the person who you're with. Or even talking about how your crush is this celebrity or that celebrity, just make sure this guy looks the complete opposite of the person that you're with. First of all, a note. This is manipulative. Let's just put it out there. It's manipulative. But to avoid being manipulative, just have friends. Have male friends. Like, literally. Don't have all male friends, but have male friends. You create this effect. You just having friends will create this. You know?
There is no more powerful way to hint that you are losing your desire. Make your interest in another too obvious, though, and it could backfire. This isn't the situation in which you want to seem cruel. Doubt and anxiety are the effects you are after. Make your possible interest in another.
Doubt. That's the point. Doubt. Not complete certainty, but doubt. Maybe it's my insecurity that I'm thinking that. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's all in my head. That's what you want it to be. You don't want it to be, oh, that bitch went out with Tyrone, the personal trainer, and then she came home tired. The fuck? That's completely different. That is way too obvious.
Barely perceptible you're after. Make your possible interest in another barely perceptible to the naked eye. Once someone has fallen for you, any physical absence will create unease. You are literally creating space. Your absences at this latter point of the seduction should seem at least somewhat justified. You are insinuating not a blatant brush-off, but a slight doubt.
Right? Like with the girl that I told you about, where she said, let's hang out tomorrow. No, I asked her, let's hang out tomorrow. She was like, sure. But it took her like 8 hours to respond. And then she was like, hey, by the way, can I let you know about tomorrow morning? I think I have some work to do. And then the next morning, I started to doubt. I was like, I think she's getting canceled, but I was hoping she wouldn't, but I thought she was. And then she was like, hey, I'm sorry. I wish you know what, let's not hang out today. I'm a little busy, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, every time that happens, I always say, God damn it, Alexis, you should know this shit, man. Come on, man. You should know she was going to bullshit that. But what if she didn't, right? What if she did see me? She would have accomplished something there, right? She would have done this strategy where it instilled doubt, and then I experienced that doubt, I suffered through it, and that doubt actually makes me fall in love with the person more. And then I saw her, and now I went from here to here to here. And whenever you are able to do that to someone, it just shows you that you have control. It's fucked up, people. First of all, let's just say it's fucked up. It's fucked up if you do this in an abusive way. It is. And a lot of people abuse people with this strategy, you know? And the only remedy, the only hope that we have is controlling our emotions, controlling our thoughts, minds, and hearts. And you do that through developing a meditation practice.
Perhaps you could have found some reason to stay. Perhaps you are losing interest. Perhaps there is someone else. In your absence, their appreciation of you will grow. They will forget your faults, forgive your sins. The moment you return, they will chase after you as you desire. It will be as if you had come back from the dead. According to the psychologist Theodore Reich, we learn to love only through rejection. As infants, we are showered with love by our mother. We know nothing else. But when we get a little older, we begin to sense that her love is not unconditional. If we don't behave, if we don't please her, she can withdraw it. The idea that she'll withdraw her affection fills us with anxiety, and at first, with anger. We will show her. We will throw a tantrum. But that never works. And we slowly realize that the only way to keep her from rejecting us again is to imitate her, to be as loving, kind, and affectionate as she is. This will bond her to us in the deepest way. The pattern is ingrained in us for the rest of our lives. By experiencing a rejection or a coldness, we learn to court and pursue, to love.
Yep. It's difficult to accept that reality, that that's how some people are, that you will experience the most love for someone when you feel rejected, or when you feel like they're pulling away from you. And it's important to keep people realizing that you are important. That's why you have to create space, either artificially or because of your life circumstance. People are always going to, this is the thing, distance intensifies emotions. Proximity lessens emotions. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Closeness causes people to get used to you. They'll still love you, but they'll be used to you. If you want to intensify the emotion, create distance. If you want to create comfort and security, create closeness. So you undulate. You're close and then you're distant. You're close and then you're distant. You're giving them the comfort, but also you give them the emotion. These are things that humans crave. And is it comfortable? No, it's a little uncomfortable. But if you keep coming back to them and showing them love, you're gonna maintain a healthy relationship by just doing this. This is not manipulation, people. This is maintenance. Personally, when I'm dating people, I don't need you around me all the time. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And if you don't do this for me, I may lose a little interest. Like, I need distance. And some people don't realize that because they're always just thinking about their insecurities. It doesn't feel comfortable, right? So apply these strategies and you will see that it'll work. Anyways, I'm gonna do part 2 later on today because the chapter's not over. If you guys enjoy this, people on YouTube, become Patreon members and join the book club. It's only $5 a month. And yeah, I'm gonna be uploading this to Patreon by later on today, and hopefully I can finish this chapter by tomorrow. All right. Anyways, take care, and I'll see you guys later.